it sort of leads into the final thing I wanted to talk to you about, and that is parenting. Because although it's been a scary time for adults, it's also been like really difficult and scary for kids. As we talked about. Do you have any advice, for parents to help deal with teenagers or younger kids who are a bit strung out and stressed out, having a tough time?
Yeah, totally. Like, I think one of the things that we've been talking to parents the most about is just remember that the most important thing for you to do is to focus on keeping houses calm and settled. And so a lot of the things that you might have worried about or got into conflict over before, don't. So, increased screen time is a good thing. If you're a kid and your world's shrank to nothing, screen time is pretty much all you've got left. And so increased screen time is fine. Don't worry about it. If you're teenagers, I was talking to my 17-year-old last night. He he goes to sleep most nights at about 4:30. And particularly for some reason, I've been waking up super early. So I tend to wake up sort of between around 4:35, 5:30 most mornings. And so we kind of have this night shift and a day shift in the house. And so he is, well, I haven't seen him today so far. He'll emerge eventually. It's fine. I don't care about that. It's like that's kind of how he gets through. The education stuff, don't fret about that. For your primary school age kids, don't worry about it at all. They could miss the entire rest of the year and they'll be fine. They may have to catch up a little bit on maths and spelling and things, but they're not going to miss out on stuff because of because of a year in primary school being disrupted. It's more difficult for your older kids, for high school age kids, because the exams are becoming more important. And I think, particularly in those linear subjects like calculus, where kind of things build on each other. So the math stuff and, some in science, some of those things. But again, it's like my hunch is the kids who are super studious and doing that now are the kids who are going to. And the ones that you may be having trouble motivating to get to do all their schoolwork now were probably the ones that you would have before. I got two boys. One of them would have been super studious. The other one, not so much when it came to the education stuff. But again, it is just about focusing on actually conflict isn't helpful at all. If your teenagers aren't, doing schoolwork and you get into big arguments with them and take all the screens away and lay down all these conditions, you can, if you're lucky, get them to sit quietly in a room, but there's no guarantee they'll actually do anything. And what you have to think about is if your boss came into your office and screamed at you or yelled at you and took away your phone and said, right, you're not having this back till you've done 4 hours work. That's it. You would not. I would do nothing. I'd carve fuck you on the underside of the desk. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what you do. So for me, it's about kind of working with, so even with your older kids, it's just about working with them. And so it's about having those conversations and talking to them about it and judging the time when you're most likely to kind of have a positive conversation. It's not about, even with the screen time and them being in their rooms and stuff, it's not about just abandoning them. It's about finding times when you can still connect up. Like I said, my guy, we don't see him a lot during the day because he's doing his thing, but we try to have like weekday meal times together and talk about stuff. And mostly over recent weeks, that's just about whatever outrages him on the day, which is usually something we've done or there's something about the world or whatever that outrages him. But it's kind of that, you just take your moments when you can to check in with them. And you kind of, it's just working with your kids to help them process and deal with the stuff. Little kids, keep them away from the news. Don't watch that stuff. If I had little kids, no on earth would I be watching the news. I wouldn't be watching the ticking little numbers going up and down. Wouldn't do any of that stuff. I would watch that stuff when they were away, maybe, when they're gone to bed later on, but not when they're little. Teenagers are going to see all of that stuff. Some of them may not care. Some of them may care a lot, but it's just about kind of talking it through with them.
Yeah.
Oh, frozen.
Yeah,
it's just about talking it through with them and finding out how they're doing.
Cool. I watched one of your TED Talks the other day, And one of the things you said on it, um, one of your fundamental principles was to make people's lives better. Um, and I think that's the whole aim of this project here. And I think the video that we've made today hopefully will be seen by a lot of people and people who need it, and will help those people. So just like to say thanks very much for taking your time and having a chat with me.
No, you're welcome, mate. I mean, that's why I did it, right? It's like, I always kind of think, there's lots of stuff going on in the world, but I do kind of think, like, if I think of everything I've ever done that's worked, it's because the thing that's been driving it is not about betterment of self. It's about making other people's lives better. And, and you still benefit from that. Your career, your business or whatever grows as a result of you doing that. But the primary thing has to be to try to help other people. And if you do that, things generally get better.